Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hi, everyone. It's Wednesday night. Welcome to another episode of Holistic Health and Hot Mamas. I'm Jo Tierney. I'm here with my co-host, Courtney Groves. I already see Justin. We're just getting started. We're a minute or two late. Justin already has about 2,500 comments over there, so we're going to get to that. So thank you, Justin. Of course, we love having you on as well. So, Court, tell me how you're doing. How was your week? What's happening? And let's just tell me about your week, then segue right into your celebrations.
My week was really good. I had a really awesome Thanksgiving. That was definitely the highlight of the week. I got to see a lot of family that I don't get to see too often. I enjoyed a few drinks and some good food and dessert. So that was really fun. And then after that, our Elf on the Shelf came back and he brought a friend. So my girls are really excited about that. They already toilet papered our tree. And this morning they were zip lining across the living room. So it's going to be a long month of that, I think. And then we brought our girls to, my husband and I brought the girls to a drive-through light show. So that was a lot of fun. They really enjoyed that.
Great. So that's all exciting. So I had a fabulous Thanksgiving as well. I think that it really put into perspective, really the entire. I think we had the month of gratitude. We that's what our focus was, and then we came full circle. It was just a nice, relaxing day. I think it really changes the landscape of things now that Black Friday shopping is so diminished. I didn't do any shopping. I didn't think about shopping. I love that new trend. And I enjoy how we are no longer, I always felt guilty about going there and standing in the lines and I did it. I was standing. I would remember we would go out, I don't know, 10, and the times all changed. I'd be out 9, 10. It didn't start till midnight. Then it backed it up to 11. And it was just crazy all over the place. But it just was a nice, relaxing time after dinner. And, everybody left. And it was just my sisters and myself. Speaking of my sisters, we have Kimberly tuning in from Target. But thinking of my sisters, I don't know if she was there. She left early, but I was there with my other two sisters and my parents, and it was just nice to just spend some quality time together. So that's one of my celebrations. And what else? We had our first snowfall. And for those of you who know me well, you know that I am not a cold weather fan. I'm definitely a fair weather girl. Oftentimes I'll be, as a joke around the office, I'll be in a 3 sweaters. In the wintertime, I have 2 pairs of pajamas on. So I'm not a fair weather girl, but there are a couple things that happened that kind of just hit me. And that usually happens this time of year. I heard holiday music for the first time in the radio. So that always makes me a little bit nostalgia. It brings me back to a little bit of nostalgia and put me in the holiday mood. So that happened, and the first snowfall. And when I say snowfall, it was I mean dusting, which is exactly what I like. I like when it comes down, it's all sparkly, and then it just looks so pretty. And then I do like, so that's my one. I like that one time, and then Christmas Eve, and then I'm done. So those two. So I already had the one magical snowfall that made everything look crystally, the little dusting, and now we'll see. Let's see what happens on Christmas Eve, and then we can wrap it up. I'm hoping to put my shovels away.
I can definitely agree with you there. I like when it makes the trees look really pretty when it's like just resting on the trees. And I like it. I like to have a white Christmas. I like when it snows on Christmas, but after that, I'm over it.
I like when it snows when we're not driving. Like if I have to go out, I don't like it snowing. But like when I'm all done in the house and we're just in my neighborhood and I know I only have to go a block or two, then I like it. And that's good for me. And then that's it. And you know what? I shouldn't say that. I do like one huge snowfall where we're snowed in, we don't have to go to work. That happens in the Northeast quite a bit. And then the kids just love that first one when they can go out and play in the snow, build a snowman. Even as teenagers, they love that. So I do enjoy that snowball too. So those are the only 3 times.
Yeah, I love that too. I love to bring the girls sledding. And now they're like getting to be a little bit older, so I think we can go like real sledding this year, not just like on, the little hill at the park.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And then I want to, we want to recap. We talked about everything that we're grateful for. This month, we're changing our focus from gratitude to random acts of kindness. But I'm going to continue my series on the signature cocktails because I had so much fun with that. I don't know if I can do it all year long, but I'm going to certainly do it through the month of December because there's so many fun holiday cocktails. And I don't know if anybody, has spoken about it on the show before, but I had a long career as a waitress and a bartender in my single days, and I was known for my great. I was known Tom Cruise behind the bar, but I had my own fair share of some great signature cocktails. So this week, my signature cocktail is a snowflake peppermint cocktail. So it sounds so fun. 2 ounces of vanilla vodka, 2 ounces of vodka in itself. That can start a party. 2 ounces of half and half. 1.5 ounces of peppermint schnapps, and any of my high school friends, we used to, when we were really, well, I shouldn't even speak to that. I'm not going to condone that, but so I'll say my college friends, we would have put peppermint schnapps in our Shamrock shakes from McDonald's, and that would be the start of our St. Patrick's Day holiday. So that'll have to be that'll schnapps I'll have to bring back for the St. Patrick's Day signature drinks. We'll do that in March. And then you sugar the rim. I think it would be, if you had those big chunks of sugar, that'll be fun. And you peppermint stick for garnish. I wonder if they have, and I believe they do. They may have peppermint stick straws. So that would be a lot of fun. That would be fun.
Yeah, that sounds so good. And you're already planning for March. I think you'll have no problem, finding a cocktail all year long.
True, true. You're right, because I'll have the Valentine. I'll have the Martin Luther King celebration. We'll be celebrating that in January. Then we'll segue into Valentine's Day. Then President's Day. I'm going to have plenty of celebrations. True. I don't know. That would be 52 signature cocktails. I might be able to do it.
That can be your challenge.
That would mean I'd have to sample them all too. So that's going to be a ton of fun. All right. So then let's segue into Kathleen's not going to be on with us tonight for anybody hoping for her recap. She's otherwise engaged tonight, but she's still doing very well. She's going to have another hypnotherapy session on Friday, and her journey's going very well. So we just want to give you an update on Kathleen, and she will be back next week. And she's also going to have a health coaching session. So we'll have a lot to report on with her on the next episode. So that'll be fun. So she hasn't forgotten about us. She hasn't abandoned her program. And speaking about our program, we want to talk about next week. We're going to talk about healthy habits, but for anybody who wants to meet us personally, we're opening up our calendar for some consultations, leading up into the new year. So I'll put that link out there if anybody wants to touch base with us, and you can find that on our Facebook group, and we'll put it on there. JTD Health Mindset and Hypnosis Center is our Facebook page. So check us out there too. But anyway, so back to this show. Let's go into our financial fitness. That's our topic of the week, or segment of the week. What do you have for financial fitness?
Yeah, so I wanted to kind of talk about holiday gifting because I know that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to get everyone the perfect gift. And that can be costly, especially if you have a lot of people that you have to buy for. So I have a couple of tips. The first one is to make a list of each person that you want to buy a gift for and how much you would like to spend on that person. So if you want to give a gift to your mailman, you're probably not going to spend the same amount on your mailman as you would your mom. So I think if you make a list of the names of the people plus the dollar amount that you'd like to spend, it will help you to stick to a budget. Another thing is handmade gifts. I'm not super crafty, but I know a lot of people that are, like my sister. My sister always makes really beautiful handmade gifts. Another thing, this might be an unpopular opinion, but re-gifting is sometimes really useful. One thing that I really loved was my stepmom a couple of years ago gave me a bartender's book because I started a job as a bartender. So it was a big book full of a bunch of drink recipes because that she used when she was a bartender. So that was really sweet, and I keep it at home on my little bar. I have like a little bar area at home. And that gift was really special to me because it was passed down from her. Meaningful gifts are really special. A lot of people like them, and they don't have to be very expensive. Like for example, when I was pregnant with my first daughter, my mom gifted me the baby doll that I had when I was a baby. And I'm sure it probably wasn't so very expensive because it was a little baby doll, but it brought me to tears. That was one of my favorite gifts I've ever gotten. And another thing is to buy, if somebody wants electronics, you can buy last year's electronics. Like last year, I got my husband an Apple Watch, but I didn't get him the newest Apple Watch. I got him the one that was released prior to the newest one. So there's a bunch of ways that you can try to save money on spending gifts.
I love that. I'm going to weigh in on two things that about that gift that your mother had given to you. I just want to give people a tip. If you're looking for something special like that, I know that you just can't find it, and it took a little bit of research, but a great way to do that, and I've done it for my own sons because my sons have wanted some nostalgic things. My oldest son always wanted something like totally out of the ordinary, like Jimmy Neutron, and that was before his time. And my middle son challenged Santa one year, and he asked him for 25 different Mickey Mouses. So, that was tough. That was a tough challenge for Santa. But I will say that eBay is a great resource for any of those gifts that people are looking for that have a sense of nostalgia. So I love that tip. And I also want to talk about the regifting. I'm a little bit torn on the regifting. I think that if it's sentimental, if it's a family heirloom, if it's meaningful, that's great. But I will say I did get a gift, one from a colleague. I will say it was who had been recently out for surgery, and they gave me a candle, but the candle was an old vase that had on the bottom 1-800-Flowers. So clearly somebody had sent them the flowers, and then they put a candle inside, and the candle looked to be about 100 years old, all dusty. And just be mindful of that. You don't want to, if you're going to regift, make sure it's in a condition that someone would appreciate, and it's something that someone is interested in. If it's something that you weren't interested in yourself, probably somebody else isn't going to be either. So, and don't just make. I know it's the gift, it's the thought that counts, but you don't want it to look as if it's it doesn't have to be new condition. I certainly don't ascribe to that, but at least wipe it down, take an old sticker off. Don't have a Christmas tag on that says, from Courtney to Nick. I mean, just look it over and make sure that if you're regifting, it looks like a genuine gift from you. It doesn't have to be new. And I think that most people appreciate the sentiment. I always appreciate a sentiment, but there is something to be said about a sentiment that you didn't even have enough thought to look it over and make sure there wasn't still a tag or a sticker on it that would identify it as something that wasn't genuinely intended for that individual.
Right, because then in that case, the thought doesn't count.
But it actually devalues you. So
Right.
it doesn't make you feel good. It makes you feel badly. So I think that's the catch-22 with regifting. So just be mindful of that.
Absolutely.
So I love all of that. I'm going to segue into that, and many of my financial fitness tips have to do with the holidays, I'm going to encourage people to give the gift of your time. I think that nowadays we have so much. Like my children can't even think of anything that they want to ask for Christmas because they have so much. I mean, people are calling them, "What do you want? What do you want?" They can't think of anything, and they're just manufacturing things to appease others because they want to be able to give them something. And of course, I enjoy gifting as well. Giving is always, well, for most people, gifting is more heartwarming, and you get more joy out of giving than you do receiving. I think most people feel that way. But so I understand that premise, but I hate for my children to be to be scrounging around trying to find something just to open when it's something that they're never going to use. So I would think that I'd rather someone take me to a movie or out to lunch, and I like to do that as well. Give people a gift of your time because that is more meaningful to them. Experiences and people's company really are much more meaningful to me than any gift. I've never been one who needs gifts. I mean, and I will say I have, and my parents, both of them are fabulous gift givers, and I am as well. I put a lot of thought into gifting, and it's so I've received some tremendous gifts throughout the course of my life without question, and I appreciate them immensely. And I think that those are the gifts that I will always cherish. I mean, even and I know that my Aunt Eileen tunes in sometimes. I don't know if she's on tonight, but I still have, she gave me this little bangle bracelet with the heart on it with my name, maybe when I was 5 or 6, and I still have that because it was meaningful and personalized for me. It was probably one of my favorite gifts. So things like that are very meaningful. There are a few pieces of jewelry that I have, nothing actually of value monetarily, but they just have sentimental value. They're costume jewelry, and those are some of my favorite pieces and some of my favorite things. So I want to say that, and I want to encourage people to recheck your list. Um, well, hold on, I gotta stop the presses because we have a comment from Justin that I have to bring up because I forgot to mention this. Courtney, is that a new haircut? You're looking fabulous.
Thank you. I did get my hair cut. I'm glad that you like it because I am still getting used to it. So you're making me feel very good about it.
So thank you, Justin. I wanted to mention at the beginning and I forgot. And the other part about your list is, I know Courtney encouraged you to look over your list, but is it really necessary to give to everyone? I mean, there were years when my list was just so expansive. I would give to, and certainly they teachers deserve it, but I would give to every teacher, every aide, every uh, bus driver, um, every delivery person, and then I had to take a step back and think to myself, are these people do I really have a relationship with these people, or do my children? If it's a teacher that my children are close to and brought value to my children's lives, of course, but maybe not so much um, the seasonal postal worker. Maybe I don't have to give them something. Every single trainer at the gym, I would give a bottle of wine to. And then I thought that the people rotate in and out, and I noticed other people weren't doing the same thing. So it's not expected. And maybe I thought maybe it makes people uncomfortable in some ways that, your clients are giving them. So I really started to evaluate my list. I would give to everyone in the office, even people I'm not particularly friendly with. Is it really necessary? And then I noticed the next year they felt obligated to get me something. So I really encourage people to take a look at their list and really give to the people who have meaning and value in your life. And that's not to say that acquaintances don't bring value to your life, but they're probably not in the same realm as your siblings who you want to give a gift to. So take a look at your list. We'll be like Santa. He's taking what's this line? He's checking the list and checking it twice. I forgot the exact way.
Making a list and checking it twice. I don't know. I probably listened to that song like 10 times a day, so you would think I would know.
So we'll encourage you to check your list twice for sure. And then I want to encourage people too to treat your credit card like a debit card. Don't just, if you have a $10,000 limit, great. But if you don't have $10,000 in your checking account, I don't think you should spend $10,000 on gifts. You want to spend what you have and what you can pay for at the end of the month. Because remember, a sale isn't a sale if you're paying interest on it in January. So I think that that's really wise advice to treat your credit card like a debit card. Don't go crazy. If you don't have it in your bank account, then don't do it, because the purpose of the holiday is not to go into debt for other people. Because I know that my loved ones wouldn't want me to be in debt for, a bracelet or whatever. And I think that you have to just be mindful of your own financial fitness, because people are going to forget whether you gave them a gift or not in December. And even if they knew, if they knew that it was straining your budget and your finances, they wouldn't want it. They wouldn't want it. So be mindful of that. So those are my tips for financial fitness going into the holiday. And hopefully I'm going to follow my own advice. So, which isn't always easy, because I am a prolific gift giver, and I have dialed it back, and I'm going to encourage others to do the same. And it makes my holiday more meaningful as well. All right. So that's what I have. Let's segue into the global topics and hot trends around the world. What are your thoughts on that?
So I wanted to talk about holiday activities for families. I know that sometimes it can be a little expensive to do a lot of, holiday activities. So tried to pick out things that were either free or on the cheaper side. So one thing that we did this week was, like I talked about in my celebrations, locally there was a free drive-through Christmas lights show. So we didn't have to pay any money. We just drove in, and it was really pretty. And the kids loved it. We listened to Christmas music. So that's something that you can check into to see if you have locally around you. Another thing that my daughters really love is the paper snowflakes, like that we did in school, where you fold up the piece of paper and then cut a bunch of holes in it. And then when you open it up, it looks like a snowflake. So that's something really simple and easy that you can do at home. Another thing is ice skating. You can see if there's any local ice rinks around you. My kids really love building gingerbread houses, and that's really fun. It gets the whole family involved. And then sledding, like I talked about before, you just go in your car and find a hill to go sledding on once the snow comes. Joe, what are your favorite holiday family activities?
Well, before I get into that, Justin has some great ones on the side. And one of my favorite ones is, people don't do it as often, but Christmas caroling. I think that that's a lot of fun. And my sons have done it around the neighborhood. And that actually is a lot of fun. Maybe we should do that this year, have a family sponsored one. Uh, I don't know if they're teenagers now, but it is something they really used to like to do. They used to go out and do that. I might propose that again. They may do it. And a snowball fight. Of course, you have to have snow, but that is a lot of fun. Snowball challenges. But back to the caroling. I mean, something that people can do is, that is free, and to bring your kids. Oh, well, maybe you can't do it because of COVID, unless you did it outside. But the senior centers and those types of facilities, they love the Christmas caroling. But I bet you that might be on a restriction now. Yeah, so I don't know, but look into it. I mean, even what if you even did a Zoom Christmas caroling, and for a senior center or a nursing home, that might actually be something great. They could put it on the big screen, and that's certainly you're giving and receiving, because that population is always so grateful for company and being thought of, because sometimes they don't have any family. So I think that's something. But so thank you, Justin, for that. But my favorite holidays, we're really steeped in tradition. And, Christmas Eve, we do the same thing. My husband's side of the family is Italian, so we do the seven fishes, and when we initially started dating, I wasn't, some of the fishes I'm not crazy about, the smells with the heads, but we've modified over the years. And I now bring some things that I enjoy. I bring the shrimp every year. That's my responsibility. So that's something I like. I like the fried fish and other things. I might bring some other delicacy this year, because I don't think we did it last year. We didn't do it last year. So this will be our first Christmas Eve in 2 years. So that's a lot of fun. So I do enjoy the seven fishes. I don't. Then they follow it with pasta, some type of pasta. I'm not a huge pasta fan, so I usually pass on that. But I really appreciate that tradition. And then Christmas morning, I make a big breakfast, and my in-laws come over. And then we go to my sister's for a huge family gathering. I love that. Besides that, I don't really have any crazy traditions. I'm not, I know a lot of people bake. I'm not a huge baker. I've never been great at that. Cooking's more my thing, so I don't bake at all. The kids do, but I don't. So I don't know. I guess that's it. Just basically streamlined. And my son's birthday's in December, so I like to have a holiday party, and oftentimes I do that around the holidays too. So that was a lot of fun.
And another, when Justin brought up the snowball fighting, I actually forgot. Last year, somebody gifted my kids these fake snowballs that you could bring in the house. They're almost like cotton balls. And even me and my husband get into it, and we're like throwing it all across the house. It keeps us all occupied for, I would say, at least 20 minutes. It's so much fun. So if you're interested, I'm sure you can look them up online, the fake snowballs. It's a lot of fun.
We have those too, and that is a lot of fun. So that's fun. And I actually wanted to go back. I forgot when you were speaking about the holiday lights. We have a couple around here. Some are paid, some are not. They have the holiday lights in the park, which is fun, but then they have and I'll give them a shout out, Quick Response, or really give back to the community in many ways. They have a free and we'll have to put this on TikTok and tag them, but Quick Response Restoration does a free holiday light events, and it's really great. For you just drive by and you see it. One day they have a whole a little mini festival, and they have a little train in there for families, but they're really great to the community, and they help in the events. And we've actually utilized them professionally in the family. If your home gets flooded, or you have water in your basement or mold, or my sister had a leak. Actually, we went on vacation and she had a slow leak, and her whole the leak actually was from her upstairs bathroom, and by the time they came home, their whole dining room was ruined, in their kitchen, the cabinets, and the Quick Response was really great, and they did many things for her, and above and beyond what they should have done. So they're great community leaders, and they're great business people. So I will say that. But so that's one opportunity. But even if you don't have that type of community event, just driving around your own neighborhoods or walking around your own neighborhoods, there are so many homes that are decorated. People go all out for decorations. So if you can't afford to go to any of the lights in the park, just drive around your own neighborhood, take a walk, and check that stuff out, because that's a free event. I mean, you do have to pay for gas, of course, but that's something to do too. I like to do that as well. And Justin's saying snow angels, so great, and hide and seek. All right, so what's next? We talked about uh, Kathleen, and I'm actually going to talk about. I didn't go back. I want to go back to my. I didn't know if we covered that yet, but my global trend, and it's not necessarily a trend. I just want people to be mindful that during the holiday season, people are struggling with their mental health. Not everybody is going to have a Merry Christmas. Not everybody is in a holidays not everybody doesn't have the holiday spirit, and I think you should be mindful of that. We don't want to force anybody. If someone's not in the mood, we don't force anybody to try to be happy. People are alone oftentimes on the holidays. We're fortunate we have families, but not everybody does. And some people don't have money to buy gifts, and that's very bothersome and weighs on them. So they don't enjoy the holidays. They may be grieving, they may be going through a divorce, they may have lost a child. I think you have to be cognizant of those things, and again, reach out with your time. Some people don't, and sometimes it's not a catastrophic event. They may have affective seasonal disorder this time of year, this change. The holidays may remind them of something traumatic in their childhood. So I think you should please be cognizant of that, and don't try to force anybody to participate in an event, go to a party. It's okay, even if you are I've been working with a client, and she told me that Thanksgiving or the holidays are very difficult for her because there's so many people around and there's so much conversation, and it's very overwhelming for her. And I said, there's nothing wrong with excusing yourself and going to a room or in another room and taking a 5-minute mental health break. I think that that's very important. And I also want to, I try not to get overly serious on this program because it's not a news show, but I would be really remiss if I didn't talk about two, catastrophic events that happened over the course of the last 2 weeks. We had the holiday parade out in Wisconsin, where I believe it was, five or six individual. I think it was six individuals were killed. So 5 adults and 1 child was just unfortunately just lost his battle. And I think that when we're talking about that, um, and I can't speak to that individual. He certainly had a lengthy criminal history, but I have to believe that there's some touch of mental illness there, and I think that in the system there were many things that happened there, but I certainly want to say that those type of tragedies around the holiday are really catastrophic, and they impact that not only that community but really worldwide. And I think that whether you're especially when you're the person who's had such an egregious loss. So I think we want to really be mindful of that and embrace those people and give them our sympathies. And then, of course, there was a school shooting this week. And anybody who knows me, there hasn't been a school shooting to my knowledge since we started this show. You know, it's really it's one of the few things that infuriate me, school shootings, and of course, it infuriates everybody. Many people know I have a long history in criminal justice. That's my day job, but it's really there's so many components of that uh, are infuriating to me. I don't. I'm not very political. I consider myself a humanitarian, not a politician. But there's something to be said when uh, a 15-year-old boy has access to a gun that his father purchased on Black Friday. I think that there's something to be said for. I am certainly cognizant of the Second Amendment and what that means, and I'm not suggesting at all that the country be disarmed, but I certainly think that there needs to be measures in place to prevent uh, children from having access to guns. And that also goes back to Kyle Rittenhouse. And I see how, um, looking at those videos, I can see how the jury came to that conclusion. But in a bigger scope, why do we have a 17-year-old boy or anybody for that matter walking around with an AR-15? So, and I'm treading lightly there because this isn't a political program, and I just think that that's a military grade weapon and something and something needs to be spoken about that. But that's not our wheelhouse, so I'm not going to go there. But I think that this time of year is very um, it's often wrought with those kind of tragedies. Gabby Gifford was shot around the holidays. Newtown occurred during the holidays. So, and those all had mental health components. You had people who were struggling with mental illness. So just be mindful, be wary of your circumstances, and be wary of the people that you love and the people around you. And if they're struggling and they have access to weapons or whether it's to harm themselves or someone else, just be mindful of the people in your lives and their mental health um, because it's challenging. And Justin is saying it is political, and you're right. I'm really wavering. I'm on the guidelines, and I'm on the fence. And I really have to go leap back over. But it's not, to me. It's not political. I'm not. Uh, I consider myself an independent. I don't consider myself to be a Democrat or a Republican on the middle of the road. So it's not political for me. It's really, I always err on the side of human life. And if I think that there's something that uh, can interfere with uh, with with or can contribute to somebody's I don't know how to say it diplomatically, but when there are rules and regulations that need to be addressed that could prevent illnesses or death, or I just think that they should be looked at. And that's all I'm going to say. So, we got to tread lightly here, Cord. I don't want to get political by any means.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And another thing is, if you encounter somebody who is, seems frustrated or having a bad day, just treat them with, grace and respect, because we don't always know what everyone is going through at home.
That is true. So Justin, thank you. He's saying nice breakdown on the events. Thank you. We appreciate that. All right. So let's, and it's tough to segue from that, but I'm going to now go into Tierney's tidbits and some of my more lighthearted tips of the week. I don't know if anybody, I'm really crazy now about, and I'm trying to wean myself off of it. I've somehow gotten enamored with TikTok. So I'm on TikTok. There are a couple things I like about it. I like the makeup tutorials for a couple of reasons. I think that when you see people who, and some of it is mean spirited and people are mean, but you just see someone might not typically classify as attractive and they're just plain faced, and then they do this makeup tutorial and you see them and then they hit the hand and then they're like this glamour queen. So I think it's a double-edged sword for me, because on one hand I love how those makeup tricks can enhance someone's appearance and make them feel beautiful, because clearly they have a lot of self-confidence, these individuals who do these tutorials, and they make themselves look beautiful, and they also are very, I don't know if I could, and I guess I don't wear very much makeup, especially I put some on here, but to be really out there and just, I don't know, I just give them so much credit for, they may have blemishes or deficiencies or characteristics that I probably wouldn't just be as open to revealing. So I give them all the credit in the world for that. But and then on the other hand, I hate the fact that we have to do it. That people feel compelled to have filters and makeup and to really feel valued and pretty. So I don't know. So I love both sides of it. I have a lot of fun with TikTok. But one of the other things that I love is now there's this whole big series, and I don't know how I got hooked up into it, but the TikTok has all of these do-it-yourself holiday decoration projects that you can get from Family Dollar. Like they'll bring in, I love this one. They have these sparkly silver ornaments, and I don't know what they had, like a plain disc, and they glued 3 glass ornaments together, and it really, they turned it into a candlestick, and then they had beautiful candlesticks. So I've seen that. I've seen them make a wagon out of a baking dish. So a lot of fun things. So I encourage people, especially now that we're stuck at home this year. We're probably going to be stuck at home. COVID's ramping up again. There could potentially be lockdowns. So, decorate your home, because you're going to be spending a lot of time in it, and just go ahead and check out that TikTok and those Dollar Tree, or I'm sure it's on YouTube too, but if you're not a TikTok person. So I love that. And so that's my Tierney tidbit. I'm going to encourage everybody to decorate their home, and you can bake cookies and or I don't know if they're cookies. We made ornaments out of plaster, and it's very simple things, or just other things around the house that might be a lot of fun, and you could have an ugly tree even, put up, people do that at my office. I'm not a big fan of it, but they put up their old, some of those regifts, or they make a kitchen tree. They put up a whisk and a spoon, or just anything fun and exciting. I don't know if it's exciting, but fun and different.
That's funny. I like the makeup transformations on TikTok. I like it because I feel like we're so used to seeing, just the selfies where you look all nice and dolled up, but it's nice to see what they look like before that. I think it's really important for girls to see like that the end transformation is not what everyone looks like all the time. Like most of the time, we look like the beginning of the video. So I love those videos, and I'm nervous about my girls growing up in a world where there's so much social media. So I like that we're kind of getting to the point where people are more comfortable showing, you know, their bare face and their crazy hair. I just think it makes everyone seem more real than a lot of people put themselves out to be on social media.
I love that. And I'm going to give one of my colleagues on the network a shout out because he was really said a couple of sweet things to me. So, you know, they invited me on to one of the other shows on the network, the Four Bros radio show. And I said, oh, I can't come on. You know, it's first of all, it's really late for me. It's 1 a.m. my time, you know, because they're out on the Pacific coast. And I said, I don't have my hair and makeup done. And he said, you're naturally beautiful. So I thought that was very sweet. And I think for men to say that is really endearing, because I think oftentimes women think that men are concerned about how much makeup we're wearing, but it's really not. I believe that in most instances it's us and our own sense of beauty and body image, and it's not necessarily the men in our lives who care that much sometimes. But you know, not unfortunately not any of the men in my life, but I do know people whose husbands, I know a few people whose husbands dress them, and yeah, I would find that very problematic. But you know, that's not my relationship, so I'm not going to comment on that. But well, I did, but I will say that I'm not going to denigrate that, because there is no normal, but it's not something that I would particularly be comfortable with. I'll say that. So, okay, so now what? So, all right, so now we're already to our challenges. Well, what do you think about the do-it-yourself decorations? When have they been? I'm going to challenge you to make one. That's going to be one of my challenges for the week. Let's go to Dollar Tree. Let's do a tutorial of it next week. Not a tutorial necessarily, because it'd be hard to do it on air, but maybe it might take us 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm not going to promise next week, but either next week or the week after, we have to show our our project, our homemade do-it-yourself decoration. That'll be fun.
That sounds awesome.
All right, and then what else? So how did you do on your challenges this week? Let's take a look. I challenge you to do a to-do list every day, and to be cognizant of your time, and especially now in the holidays, we all get much busier. But how'd you do on it?
I did better. I didn't do the list quite every day just because of Thanksgiving and things like that. But I did pretty good, and I am proud of myself. I got up early a few days and exercised and got some things done. I did some social media work this week for our Facebook pages, Instagram, and TikTok. So I'm on a roll. I'm going to keep going with it.
All right, perfect. And Justin saying, you know, I agree and disagree with this. I don't like to put blanket statements out there, but he's saying that women communicate better than men. I think that that's probably true in most instances. And I think that really a lot of that is cultural, and because men were always taught, you know, you got to be strong, you have to be. And I think it's changing with this generation, but prior generations of men were told you have to be strong, you have to be the man, you know, boys don't cry, big boys don't cry. So I think that that's probably true. Men do find a generally, I don't want to say that for all men, but we'll say sometimes. I'll backtrack, but sometimes men have a difficult time communicating. But I want to put that with a caveat. That's certainly not all of the time.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
All right, great. And all right, so I'm going to also challenge. So I'm challenging you. We're going to do a dual challenge on the decorations, and then, you know, we're coming up to Christmas, and I'm going to challenge you to mirror what you did last year. Let's start to try to find some healthier recipes for some of our holiday favorites.
All right, I'm ready for it.
So some of our holiday favorites are the same, but but maybe not. I think some of the Christmas dishes are different. Maybe I can try to find something a little bit healthy. Well, the seven fishes is probably pretty easy to find something a little bit healthier. Maybe we should try to find some holiday treats that are healthier. We could concentrate on desserts this month instead of or whatever. We could do some savory dishes, but everybody loves sweets and cookies and candy around this time of year. So maybe we can find some healthier desserts. I already know one. Oftentimes for a pumpkin pie, I'll give this away because it's a Thanksgiving, something I do at Thanksgiving. But Dannon has these fit and light 80-calorie yogurts that are it's pumpkin pie, and I'll have that with some ready whipped fat-free whipped cream, and that's like my pumpkin pie. So I love that one. So that's
Oh, that
one time.
sounds so good.
It really was. Justin saying cookies, for sure, Justin. All right, we'll try to find some healthy cookie recipes, for sure. And then, okay, what do you have for me? My challenge last week? I have been doing the cardio, the posture. I'm still on that. The subscriptions, I've given a lot of thought, and I've come up with the outline and the rationale. I haven't fully implemented it. I'm really thinking about what it should consist of, what's a reasonable cost, and I opened a bank account to really facilitate that, and I have to do a little bit more administrative work to get that going. I'm thinking, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking of one hypnotherapy session a month. I haven't given the price point, but that's a $250 value, and I'm thinking of perhaps giving it at a 90% discount, 25% off. So I mean $25. So I'm thinking that might be my special, at least for January, to get us started. So I have been doing a lot of work on that for sure.
That's amazing. That sounds so good.
And I think it's very timely for people who are be starting their New Year's resolutions. And that being said, you don't have to wait for us, and you don't have to wait till January 1st. You can start taking and making some small incremental changes in your life right now if you choose to. It's never every day, every morning is an opportunity for a new beginning and to start a healthy habit. Isaiah saying, "Good evening, ladies." Hi, Isaiah. Thanks for tuning
Hello.
in. Look at the picture, Isaiah. You're all spruced up there and look very handsome. I haven't seen you looking uh, so polished. Usually you're in, one of your sports jerseys. So I love that photo. And thanks for tuning in. And then what else? I already jumped in. My closing was going to be about the healthy
Oh, I was
habits.
gonna I didn't tell you what your challenge is yet. You're not gonna get off that easy.
Oh, darn it. All right. What is it? What's my challenge for this week?
So in addition to the do-it-yourself decoration, I want to challenge you to get all of your holiday decorations up this week.
Oh boy, I'm way behind. You may have noticed that. For everybody who knows me intimately knows I'm like, well, not me. My oldest son is crazy about the holiday decorations. I don't have anything out yet. I just actually took the Halloween decorations down last week. I've totally bypassed Thanksgiving. I've been so busy working on some things behind the scenes here. All right, I'm gonna accept the challenge because I don't know if one of my sons challenged you to tell me that, but I'm definitely gonna do it. Um, and then, Justin's asking us about the Olympics. I mean, that's really a better conversation for the Mo and Joe show, but I certainly hope they happen. That's a fun time for that show. And he's saying the challenge games used to be up. So I think that's it. I think we can wrap it up a little early. What do you have going on for next week, Court? What do you think? Oh, what do we have to tease for next week? The festive foods, I believe we're going to talk about next week.
Healthy habits.
Now, healthy habit. Oh, that's so all right, healthy habits. I already segued into that a little bit. We said that you don't have to wait till January 1st for your healthy habits. So we'll talk about some healthy habits that you can start right away next week.
Sounds good. I'm excited.
All right, perfect. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Isaiah. Thanks, Kimberly, and everybody else who commented and joined in. We appreciate it. And of course, we're still, I want to encourage everybody too. I forgot our topic of the month is random acts of kindness. I'm going to challenge all of our viewers to do a random act of kindness for somebody else, whether it's, even something minor. If somebody drops their packages, help them pick them up, or pick up somebody's coffee if you can afford to, or open a door for someone, carry their packages to the car or something. There's always some small minor thing we can do to help lift and help somebody's spirits, because we don't know what people are going through. And so that's going to be my challenge. And Cardi, you and I will add that to our challenges. We'll do a random act of kindness and report on that next week too. So that's where we're at. And speaking of kindness, we got our main man behind the scenes, Chris P. Bacon. So thank you, Chris. There's nothing we can do on this show without you. You're our main man behind the scenes and in our hearts. So thank you. And then you can play us out. We'll see everybody next week. Thank you.
Bye.
I'll see you at 10, Justin.